had some crazy things going on in this entire Mike Antonucci saga. Mike finally dropped a video to respond several days, nearly a week, if not a week after the whole internet was basically saying he did some weird stuff. So, first and foremost, Mike releases a video. So we're going to get to that video, but first, we're going to demonstrate something here. If my tablet wants to work with me, perfect. Here we go. All right, so I'm going to play some stuff for you here. I want to refer you guys to Brett's Facebook page where you guys can watch the videos here. So I'm just going to let the videos talk for themselves.
I hate women. Well, you read it. I should say you said it. You were reading it. I hate women. Cameras in locker rooms. Grogan, right? First of all, we just covered what our locker room was. There were no cameras in a public, open space.
Okay, this is from Mike's video he just released. There's no cameras. You heard him say defiantly, there are no cameras. Okay, Mike. Well, if that's the case, well, what the hell is this?
I said, did you leave? No, Mike. I don't hear it while you're talking because it's so loud in here. I don't hear it because it's so loud in here. How'd it go? 3 for 3? Alright, cool. So I'll talk to the guys. If they want you back, I'll hit you up.
So, as you can see right here, this is a massage table. This is happening at the West Warwick Civic Center, where I was at the other day with all those awesome people protesting. There was a show going on, a wrestling show. That's where you can hear all that noise in the background. There were little children just feet away. And what happened here, and if the people in the background need to quiet down a little bit, so what happened here was you have a wrestling show occurring right over here with little children right over here. And then what you have there is, now obviously you didn't play the whole video. You had 3 people on this mat who were being recorded getting massages. Mike says, did you go 3 for 3? Watch the end of this video. I'm going to play it again. Mike pops out of the back of a van. There's a wrestling show going on there with the little children, feet away. Mike said from his own video he just released right now, there were no cameras. Then you see him saying, did you go 3 for 3? Meaning, to the 3 people that just got a massage, did you videotape them against their consent? Is there a video camera? And then at the end of this video, he goes and grabs the hidden camera. Watch it one more time.
I said, did you leave?
Why does he have a flip phone?
No, Mike. I don't hear it while you're talking because it's so loud in here.
It's so loud in here because people are wrestling. There's little kids.
How'd it go? 3 for 3? Alright, cool. So I'll talk to the guys. If they want you back, I'll hit you up. Alright. Okay, well, thank you. cameras in a public open space.
There are no cameras. There are no cameras. One of the things that is pretty interesting about all this is these people didn't know they were being filmed. Did you go 3 for 3? The 3 people that you just had sitting there? There are no cameras. Mike starts off his video talking about, oh yeah, the highlight of his week was hanging out with me when I was 13 years old watching the X-Files. That's a highlight of your week? Mike thinks I'm just making this all up. He's calling me a liar. He's calling Brett a liar. He's calling Jay a liar. He's calling the underage child that came forward a liar. He's calling the other anonymous person a liar. He's calling Travis Babcock a liar. He's calling all these other people that have come forward liars. And you know what's funny is he talks for an hour and 10 minutes and he doesn't answer the central questions. Mike says, oh, did somebody put a chirp in here about this? No. The woman that told me about this, it's a woman. You know who she is. I know who she is. I didn't make any of this up. And yeah, that's what started me down this investigation. She told me about Anthony Florio and how you potentially may have done something to him. And I looked into it. And then I found all these other pieces. You said you didn't have cameras. What the hell was that? You got people being recorded without their consent backstage of a wrestling show with children feet away? You went 3 for 3? Then Mike's talking about how none of these trainees are underage. I worked at XWA for free from age 16 to 17 under the false pretense of getting an opportunity to work for a bigger platform and further my career. XWA did have a major perception to smaller talent as being a major company from the bigger shows they ran with star wrestlers, but it was not the same XWA I worked for. We read this testimony before of a 16-year-old kid getting SA'd. Didn't bring it up once in an hour and a half. I said I'd shut up, Mike, if you answered my questions. You didn't answer my questions. Never brought up Disney. Not once. Didn't bring up Disney. Then he says, oh, you know what? My dad couldn't afford the house. His dad's dead. Rest in peace to Val. If that was the case, if that was true, which I do not believe is true whatsoever, why would you sully your father's name? Rest in peace to Val. Why would you sully your father's name like that? He's like, yeah, we needed money for the mortgage. Okay, well, why are you going to a Little League? Why don't you go to a bank? How about this, Mike? Instead of doing stuff at a Little League, why don't you get a job so you can pay the mortgage? Did that ever occur to you? No, you decided to throw your dead father under the bus. And you know it's really crazy. In this video, he goes on, oh yeah, it's coercion, criminal conspiracy against Brett. Notice in this video where Mike says, right here in this first video, he's talking about Grogan. He says the tweet said Mike hated women. There's cameras in the locker room, which he denied. We just proved that otherwise. So everything that he says going forward, we've confirmed he's lied up and down this, but we just confirmed. We confirmed that they obviously have the cameras here, right? But you say, oh yeah, I'm going to do this legal stuff against Brett. But you don't do anything against Grogan, who said that you're an active smedophile, names you by name. Why couldn't you just answer my questions, Mike? You talk an hour and a half and you don't answer my questions. Mike said, "Oh, Mike, I guess you didn't reach out to this person. I guess you didn't. Have this person." Yeah, I reached out to every single person I could think about, and I talked to anybody that would talk to me, and I haven't gone forward with one thing yet without getting corroborating evidence. So Delta, Craig, right now, Mike is saying that you guys are basically collaborating with what he's saying. You guys are agreeing with Mike saying, but I haven't heard from you. I have reached out to you folks, but I haven't heard from you. I'd love to hear from you. Can we confirm or deny what Mike's saying here? I want to know from you because you guys are the ones that can put this to rest. So he spent an hour and a half talking about the same stuff he talked about on the phone with me. Notice when it comes to future technologies, I continually bring up the question, why did you get fired from Future Technologies? And right as he's about to explain why he got fired from Future Technologies, he changed the subject. Well, maybe it's because on my very first video, I played the audio recording of a former colleague and his boss confirming that he got fired for weird stuff and potentially CP on his laptop. He just glosses over that. And the same thing when Grogan started talking about, she said she made 3 claims. She said, 1, there's cameras in the locker room, which we confirmed, and we also confirmed that Mike lied about. Mike hates women, which seems pretty obvious to me. And the other thing that she said is Mike is an active smedophile. Mike addresses those 2 points and then moves on. Isn't that convenient? Still didn't address why you got fired from the Boys and Girls Club. And he admits he was on Chatterbait in 2011, which is very convenient. Because I have information that goes back a lot further than 2011, and that some of those people may not have been 25 at the time, let's say that. Didn't address the Cam on Jim thing. You never did anything on Cam with the minor, Mike? You didn't say that you didn't. Oh, they were all 25. Were they, Mike? Can you definitively say that? You never brought up anything about Premiere. You never responded to me saying that you asked me for roofies. Why would you ask for roofies? And this is so funny because he's sitting there bragging about, he said, we do the best doggone birthday parties, bar none. And then he spends 40 minutes defending a segment where grown men get a happy ending and there's a audible orgasm sound in a spa, not fully clothed. We do the best damn kids' birthday parties out there, guys, in case you didn't know. Come take your kids to a wrestling show, and meanwhile, you're going to see 2 guys in the spa getting a happy ending. Mike, we just released a video. Pardon me, Brett released a video. Why are you pulling the camera off the wall? Why do you have a burner phone on you? Why do you get the flip phone? Who are you talking to in that video? You go 3 for 3? Did you get all 3 of those wrestlers there who were getting massages during the show? Did you make sure you got all 3 on my hidden camera? I'm going to confirm that you got all 3 on my hidden camera before I take my hidden camera down. Didn't address the fact that, according to my sources, that there were children underage mooning at the Boys and Girls Club, which you videotaped. And you notice how, oh, Will was a great person. He was really funny, and he was ahead of the times on 9/11, just like me. No, you weren't. You never made one post about it, bro. I've been going to Ground Zero like almost every single year, having my own protest, and I've been speaking out about this for years. You never said one thing. So you're saying, oh, Will's a great person. He's funny. He knew about 9/11 years before anybody else. But Will turned his back. But you notice, I didn't. There was no motive given. And just so you people know, like, not to brag, but bro, I've interviewed like U.S. diplomats, CIA whistleblowers, Martin Luther King Jr.'s family. I'm out here confronting Trump. I'm the first person on record to confront half these politicians. Bloomberg, Clinton, all these people about Jeffrey Epstein before the news even knew who Epstein was. So why would I make all this up? But I couldn't make up the audio that said Mike got fired from CP. I couldn't make up the 3 people that told me what happened to them when they were children. I couldn't make up the fact that all these people are coming forward, underage people, everybody coming forward. Why do you have a flip phone? Why are you recording people against their consent? And you just lied to all of us, telling us. So this is a family-friendly show. We're going to spend 40 minutes talking about this happy ending thing. So it was actually rather disgusting. You got Mike calling Brett a liar, Travis a liar, Jay a liar, this underage child a liar, calling Rich a liar, calling Jalen a liar, calling this other anonymous person a liar. But notice the theme. Will was cool. Brett was cool. Jay was awesome, right? All these people are cool. But then something happened. Yeah. Is it us? Or is it you? Are all these random people from different aspects of your life working together outside of each other without contact each other, concocting these random stories to take down a local wrestling promoter? Or is it that you screwed over all these people and did weird and creepy and disgusting things? Remember, the highlight of this guy's week was watching X-Files with an underage kid. All right, finally. So this is what Mike looked like before. Let's see if we can get the camera shot going on here. This is Mike before the investigation here. This is Mike now. Uh-oh. Facial expressions change a little bit. The duping delight is a little bit gone. So, now, I am no lawyer, I am no doctor, I claim to be no expert. Another thing Mike's like, that's not real journalism, that's not real journalism. I never claimed to be a journalist, ever. I never claimed I was a journalist, ever. I just did my own investigation. I never claimed to be anything, and I will never claim to be anything besides perhaps an iconoclast. But I did find a bunch of stuff. I did find 3 people that came up to me and said, hey, something happened to me when I was underage, and Mike was a perpetrator. I did find audio of saying, you got fired from your job for having weird stuff and potentially CP on your computer. I did find several other people, including underage people, coming forward saying you essayed them. I did find other people speaking out about you online and have those screenshots. I did have other people's audio, and I played them. And I did have testimony from countless people behind the scenes who I allowed to stay anonymous, and I kept their sources completely private. So I want to end this off just to kind of let you guys jump into. I have one of my colleagues compiling a behavioral analysis of mine. Now, what I'm saying is not me. I'm not an expert in this field. However, the information here is all science-backed. It's all been I actually forgot about one thing that I should bring up too, but let's pause on that. I'm just going to read this for you guys here. This is all based in science, and you'll notice this is basically the scientific stamp on And then we can have the debate about whether social sciences are truly science, but we can debate that another time in this channel. But we're going to take a look at this behavioral analysis and see what it says. And remember, this is an hour and a half, and he doesn't address any of the key questions we have. So this is not speculation. This is behavioral analysis. And all this information here is grounded in peer-reviewed studies that have been replicated, right? So, all right, section 1, the pattern over the decades. Let's start with the behavior itself, not the allegations, but the documented, admitted, and corroborated conduct spanning roughly 20 years, actually more if you want to look at it. 2017, Dr. Grant Cinnamon published a 7-stage model of sexual grooming. It describes how predators systematically identify, cultivate, and exploit victims. When you lay Antonucci's documented behavior alongside the model, that alignment is not partial, it is stage for stage. Okay? You guys see what I'm doing here? Stage 1, victim selection. He positioned himself in an environment saturated with vulnerable youth, the Boys and Girls Club, and Little League, where he was a counselor, North Providence. Little League also, too, where he was an umpire, and then the wrestling school and promotion, where teenagers desperate to make it in the business would do whatever it took to get booked. Stage 2, research. He learned who was eager, who was financially vulnerable, who craved validation. Also kids without fathers in their lives. These are the kids that show up early, stay late, and never say no. Stage 3, building trust. He invited boys to his home, pay-per-view nights, dinners, sleepovers, Disney. He became the cool older guy, the mentor, the gatekeeper to their dreams. Stage 4, meeting needs. He offered what they couldn't get anywhere else: training, bookings, exposure, the promise of a bigger platform. For young wrestling Rhode Island, he was really the only game in town. Stage 5, priming. This is where it turns. Pornography playing on the television during sleepovers. Forgot I had that on. Sexual jokes normalizes locker room culture. Nipple grabbing framed as a good game slap. Gradual, incrementally, boundary erosion designed to make the abnormal seem routine. Stages 6 and 7, exploitation and control. The webcam accounts, the catfishing, the alleged sexual contact, and then the silence enforced through shame, career dependency, and the assurance that, quote, nobody will ever find out. This is not a loose analogy. This is a clinical match of an established academic model of predatory grooming behavior. So, we have this model here. Dr. Grant Cinnamon. It's a 7-stage model of sexual grooming. And what we've documented here, not from me, not from some crazy thing that came out of my head, but from everything that we've uncovered and all the people coming forward, it's not like Mike's got like 3 of the 7 or 2 of the 7. No, 7 for 7. We got the victim selection, the research, building trust, meeting needs, priming, exploitation, and control. It's not a loose analogy. He's hitting all 7 right here. Now let's go on to what he admits in his own video. Because this is where it gets pretty crazy and damning from a behavioral psychological standpoint. He admits he operated a webcam pornography account. He admits he recruited other people into it. And then his exact words, quote, I made $300 one night just sitting and talking to people. Of course I'm going to tell my friends about that. Why wouldn't I? I'd be a horrible friend if I didn't. He admits he knew about the catfishing. He admits he arranged the alpha spa massage scenario involving wrestlers in states of undress under his direction. He admits to physical contact with wrestlers, is what he frames as normal locker room behavior. Now, here's what matters. Each of these admissions standing alone might be explained innocently, but taken together, they establish the exact infrastructure required for the serious allegation to be true. He had the webcam platform. As we just told you, he lied about having cameras, and he had a hidden damn camera right there for people that didn't know that they were being filmed. You get 3 for 3? He had the webcam. He had the recruitment pipeline. He had the deceptive sex solicitation mechanism. He had the physical access. He had the normalization of sexual boundary violations. The empirical literature calls this strategic self-disclosure. Offenders admit it's what's already known or what cannot be denied, creating an appearance of radical honesty while maintaining absolute denial of criminal liability. Which is, just to give you guys a random heads up, see the way he was walking around, pacing, talking nervously? He's lying like he's talking to lawyers. He's not talking to lawyers. If he was, they would tell him to shut the hell up. And they would be like, you know what? I'm supposed to be a defense attorney. But I'm turning you into the prosecution because you're cooked, bro. So the audience walks away thinking like, oh, look, he admitted to the embarrassing stuff, so surely the worst stuff wasn't true. He denied everything. The assumption is exactly the strategy this is designed to exploit. All right, now we're going to talk about the age lie, right? Antonucci keeps talking about these people are grown men. They're 25 years old. 25-year-old grown-ass man. How old is he? 25. Statement analysis research identifies as over-specificity under pressure. When people are telling the truth, they tend to give approximate contextual answers. When they're constructing defense, they anchor to specific numbers. This is why I had two different people tell me, wow, the stuff you recorded in 2020 is literally verbatim what he told me, down to the laughs and everything. Why are two different people telling me that? He didn't say of age, he didn't say 18, he said they're 25. Why? Because 25 creates maximum psychological and legal distance from the age of consent. But as I said earlier, I do not believe that you only had overage people. Victim statements are explicit. Antonucci encouraged underage boys to use his age-approved webcam account because they couldn't create their own. He told them not to show their faces. He told them nobody would find out. Because unless your friends are watching gay porn, there's no chance they stumble upon it. His emphatic insistence on 25 is not the behavior of someone clarifying a fact. It is the behavior of someone constructing a firewall between his admission and criminal liability. Some of the people that you're talking about, and some of the people that you didn't bring up, you were hanging out with them for a long time before that, and their little brothers. Long time before that. I got pretty darn good evidence that it wasn't just 25-year-olds that you were doing these cams with. Section 4, the cameras. In his response video, Mike categorically denies hidden cameras. His exact words: 2 cameras in that event center. One by the bootleg hitting system facing the doorways, facing the ring. The other by the concession stand facing the register. 2 cameras, that's the story. Now we have Mike saying there's no cameras, and then we got him pulling the camera off the wall after talking to someone on a burner phone. Said, "Did you get them all?" Yeah, and you can hear kids in the background. Thought you said the camera didn't exist, Mike. Now let's talk about the damn video itself. 90 minutes of deflection. Let's talk about the response of the video itself. Not what he said, but what he didn't say, and how long he took not saying it. 90 minutes, an hour and a half. What did he spend that time up? A friendship with me, the X-Files, conspiracy theories, a Little League loan, birthday parties, a charity show called One More Light. The time his boss paid him to sit home after his father died. What didn't he spend time on? The cameras. The underage webcam exploitation, the essay allegations, the phone call about why he was fired from Future Technologies, the 3-for-3 massage arrangement. So he basically trying to you guys all know what a red herring is. It stems from back in the day when people were hunting. They would take a fish and have the dogs go on a wrong scent. It's like trying to trick you to look over here and not look over here. He's throwing word salad at you and say, hey, Will, you know about this? And you guys know about what pro wrestling? And I was it's just trying to overwhelm you, right? And then innocent man says, here's what they said. Here's why it's false. Here's my evidence. Let me repeat that. Innocent person says, here's what they said. This is why it's false. And here's my evidence to back it up. He says, hey, the highlight of my week was hanging out with Will when he was underage watching X-Files. Now, everything I also just described fits within one single empirical framework. Also, this was developed by Dr. Jennifer Freed in 1997. It's called DARVO. This is an acronym. It stands for Deny, Attack, Reverse, Victim, and Offender. Deny. He categorically denies the cameras, underage involvement, and the essay. Attack. He calls his accusers ring rats, enhancement talent, people with vendettas. He calls me a terrorist. He says Grogan's sexual history, he brings that up to discredit her. And then the reverse victim and offender. He positions himself as the real victim. He's the real victim in all of this. His legacy is being destroyed. His charitable works are being ignored. Yeah, he did one show in the name of somebody, and then some random person. Yeah, people are afraid to defend him because of because they don't want to get caught up with me because me I'm a terrorist apparently, right? This is what a 90-minute video was basically designed to do. Sorry, it was the West Warwick Civic Center, not the event center. My apologies for misspeaking there. So let me just be clear about what I am saying, what I'm not saying. One, I'm not rendering a legal verdict. I'm not diagnosing anybody. I'm not claiming certainty where the evidence doesn't support it. I am claiming certainty where the evidence does support it. When you take his own admissions, the documentary evidence, the multiple independent witness accounts, the first-hand victims' accounts, the whole catfishing scheme, the post-video removal camera footage, you run all of it through all these peer-reviewed behavioral scientific frameworks. This is a profile that's consistent with serial institutional people that are offenders, that starts with the S, who use positions of authority to groom and exploit vulnerable individuals over time. And his response to being exposed is not the confused outrage of an innocent man, it is a sophisticated, empirically predictable deployment of a narrative management strategy, DARVO, which is moral disengagement, strategic self. So, long story short, I'm boring you guys with this gibberish, but this is science. These are two different scientists here that have developed patterns that we use as human beings when people groom people, or when they want to play the victim when they're systematically attacking people. Mike fits every single one of these profiles to a T. It's not like, oh, you got 2 out of 3. No, 7 out of 7. And we have all the evidence to back it up. Mike spends an hour and a half. He skips by the part where he says, "Oh yeah, let me tell you why I got fired from Future Tech," and then I have audio I played on my very first video saying his boss saying he got fired for having CP weird stuff on his computer. Wait? What did you say? Yeah, weird stuff. CP. He was doing stuff he wasn't supposed to do on the computer. Conveniently forgets that. Then he brings up the Grogan tweet, which says that he hates women, he's got cameras in the locker room, and he was an active Smedophile. He says he doesn't hate women, offering no evidence. He says there were no cameras in the locker room, which we just showed that he's filming people without his consent with hidden cameras. And then he just conveniently forgets the fact that this person called him an active Smedophile. All the while saying, I'm going to sue Brett for saying something that he didn't even mention you by name. This person says the owner of the XWA is an active Smedophile, and you don't sue them. And then you say, hey, I got a family-friendly show. Let me show you this little tape with this half-naked guy getting a happy ending from a guy with hairy arms. And it doesn't address the underage people in all of this. He just calls us all liars, calls the victims liars. So, without a shadow of a doubt, Mike Antonucci is doing things that look pretty illegal to me. That's what I'll say. That's what I'm going to say to cover my bases right now. And there are a few people that still haven't said their piece, and I wish that they would, because I don't want them, because from my research on the XWA, everyone seems to be really awesome people with one exception, Mike. And I don't want you guys to be historically tied to them. So if you knew something that was going on, or if you have a story, it's very important to come forward, because now Mike's calling us all liars. But guess what, Mike? You're the liar. You're the liar. You said there was no cameras, but what the hell is this? There were no cameras? No cameras. So you lie about that. You don't bring up the biggest, most important things that we're talking about.
That anyone
My tablet's cooked. Hold on. I don't know what the hell's going on with my tablet. Pulls the damn camera off the wall. Cheese and crackers. I don't know what's going on with this thing. Watch him pull it off the wall.
I don't hear it because it's so loud in here. How'd it go? 3 for 3? Alright. Alright, cool. So I'll talk to the guys. If they want you back, I'll hit you up and we'll do it. Alright. Okay, well, thank you. Bye.
Mike says it's just a big misunderstanding. He says, I'm not getting his side of the story. Well, you lied, Mike. And then you called all the people that came forward with their truth, who were victims, you called them liars. You called underage children liars. If you guys have anything, please come forward. Hopefully, Mr. Antonucci will never be able to do these things again, due to the awesome work of a lot of people behind the scenes and in front of scenes. So he releases this video. Hey, it's all a bunch of lies. I'm not gonna talk about the meat and potatoes. I'm not gonna talk about the reason I got fired from Future Tech. I'm not gonna talk about the biggest part about Grogan's tweet. I'm not going to talk about the things that happened to those underage kids. I'm going to lie. I'm going to deflect. I'm going to follow all the behavioral patterns of someone that is grooming according to science. And then I'm going to lie to you on top of it and say I have no cameras. Well, guess what? You got the hidden cameras, Mike. We got the hidden cameras.